Hey y'all, back from vacation. Welcome to my living room. I wanted to come on today actually to talk about a topic area that I have been avoiding talking about on this channel. And actually, you know what, not just on this channel, in general in my life. I think I went through a period where I talked about it a lot, I think because I needed to, because I was going through it in the moment. But at this point, I don't have to. I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. So I don't know, I don't have to dig into it and process it. But it would probably be helpful to continue to. And that is on a topic around interpersonal partner violence. What used to be called domestic violence and now is interpersonal partner violence. That has been reworded to open it up to LGBTQ populations, and because our relationships don't always look the way they have in the past. Like domesticity may not be part of the relationship anymore. And specifically, the kind of violence that I actually really do need to process more is that of emotional abuse. So I struggle with talking about it in the same vein that I struggle sometimes about talking about trauma that I still experience from sexual assault, past sexual assault. And I don't have a hard time telling people that I have experienced emotional abuse. And I don't have a problem telling people that I was raped. But I do struggle with talking about the PTSD or whatever it would be called, the post-trauma that you experience. I think I'm a very privileged person, and I've been taught that over and over again. It's very engraved in my mind that I am an extremely privileged person. Those of you who come from immigrant backgrounds, where your parents were from a different country, a developing nation before they came here, and they also feel some of what I'm talking about in terms of being told over and over again as you were growing up how privileged you are. So while I've kind of committed my life to speaking out against oppression and working in these like advocacy circles to the extent that I can, I always preface everything with saying how privileged I am. And it's hard for me I don't know. It's hard for me to really acknowledge, I guess, the extent of maybe trauma that I have experienced, because it seems like it maybe isn't real trauma, like because I am so privileged and so many people have it so much worse. You know, it's like oppression Olympic stuff that I don't want to be pretending that my life is hard or that it's harder than it is. So I tend to talk about systems. And I mean, I will definitely open up, like I do share openly things that have happened to me. But I'm much more embarrassed to talk about the kind of like lasting impacts. But I've been thinking about it a lot more because when I was just on vacation, I kind of like got to step out from inside myself, the way that I typically filter thoughts in my brain in this very, very negative, self-deprecating way. I got to step out of that. I think just, a new environment, and I don't know, like I was very present and plugged in to this new environment, and I wasn't so focused on me. And so I think that I was able to think of myself very objectively while I was on vacation. And I realized all these things. Like, I realized, like, oh, like, I have, like, a pretty good job, and I get to do stuff that I actually enjoy for work, and, like, I do all this volunteer stuff, and, like, I'm, like, very, like, interesting and interested in the world, and I have all these amazing friends, like, really, really great community networks and things, and it made me, realize objectively I'm an extremely lucky person and a privileged person. And then also that I have like a lot going for me. Like I'm a pretty good catch. Outside of like my body insecurity stuff and how I really struggle with thinking I'm attractive or thinking anything. So I already struggle with that, but it was kind of like I was just able to see myself objectively. Like I was like, no, like you're like okay looking, like it's like fine. Like you're like, and like not only are you okay looking, I mean, which, looks shouldn't matter, but like you kind of have a lot going for you. You have, I mean, not that education is everything, but like you're very highly educated. You have 2 master's degrees from a prestigious university. Like you, I don't know, like all these things. You're doing a lot with your life. Like you're in a really good place in so many ways. And then I got back here to Chicago, and I almost instantly started second guessing everything about myself. And it's related to this trauma. I'm not going to go into detail why or how or anything, but it is that. And I could see clearly the link that that I've given certain individuals in my life so much power that I end up feeling so small and incapable and worthless, kind of, and questioning my own sanity almost instantly if something bothers this person, or if I say something that comes across the wrong way on accident or something. It's like night and day. It's really, really blatant how easy it is for my voice to be taken away. And that's really crappy. Because, and here's why. Because when I am able to see myself objectively, I'm also capable of so much more. I've lived enough life at this point that I can actually be very supportive and useful to folks around me. I think on a number of different things that a person might go through. And I am an extremely empathetic person. I'm working on being a more patient person. I think I'm definitely way more patient than the most average person, but I'm working on that. I'm working on being an active listener. I'm working on all these things that I think make me highly, highly equipped to be there for other people and to give, to be supportive. And to work, I'm highly capable. Like, I could, be in a position where I'm supervising other folks. I understand the inner workings of how to strategize interpersonal relationships. Like, these are things I'm very efficient at and very good at. And I could be somewhere very different in my life, I think, if I wasn't very often second-guessing everything about myself and very easily put in a place where I feel like I have nothing and no self-worth. And it's not my fault that I was on the receiving end of all of, all abusive tactics for a number of years. And I think this isn't just one thing. This is a lot of different things that have added up over the years. That it's not my fault that I haven't always been treated super well by people. But now that I'm at a place where I am so capable, I really do want to figure out the way to process it and navigate it and get better so I can do more, so I can contribute to society the way that I want to. And so I think it's important to talk about. And while it's not like I'm hurting on a day-to-day basis, the setbacks that happen, they're pretty big setbacks. And they keep me in one place. And they prevent me from seeking out new opportunities and really propelling myself forward in the world. And I think that even though we don't feel like we're directly hurting, it's important to still process things. We still should be talking about it. I'm always surprised by how having been sexually assaulted affects me still. Sometimes I feel really uncomfortable with a person, even after I've engaged with them in a consensual way and kind of in the middle. I really want everything to stop. And it's hard for me to say no to people, and sometimes I'll just start crying, and then they might, stop or something. But I don't talk about that because it is embarrassing. And eventually it's hard to see the exact line. These things aren't linear either. Sometimes the world just can't get me, and I am doing really well. But I still experience the residual effects of certain, I think, measures of violence or trauma or whatever you want to call it that I have experienced. So I feel like this video has been all over the place, but I want to talk about it on here a little bit more because I think these things are important to talk about, and it's so prevalent. And it makes me really sad to see all the women, like every woman I know, I feel like has gone through the same things I have, pretty much. And some of us, for some of us, it's still holding us back. Some of us have figured out a way to fight through it, but are probably still dealing with it. So maybe it's time that we just need to talk about it, like very frankly, and talk about the things that are embarrassing that happened to us as a result of maybe something that happened a long time ago. Or maybe after it happened to us, we sought out that experience again because we didn't know what love looked like, or we didn't know anything else. I'm going to do this because I do think this is how you get better. For me, at least. So, yeah. I've been struggling today with noticing how quickly I give all of my power away. And it is me doing it. Like, it's not my fault that I have been, like I said earlier, subject to certain measures of abuse. But, like, I am giving it away. I'm giving that power. And I have to figure out how to just hold on to it. I think it must just be something you have to do intentionally every day. Making space for yourself in the world. So, I guess you'll get to see me on that journey. And hopefully it will progress in a way that is beneficial to me and all of us. So I hope you all are having a good day, and I'll talk to you later.